exactly 2 hours since they started the excavation. So we want to see where we are at the moment. So behold, the ground is very hard, and then there were structures which were there before. So there are some points in which he's really struggling to trench.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. To my returning viewers and subscribers, as always, thank you so much. If you're new here, my name is Elaine. I am an engineer and a project manager. So on this channel we talk about construction a lot, real estate, and this series that I am doing, it's on the construction journey of a house that I'm managing here in Harare in Zimbabwe. So today it marks a very exciting milestone for us because the construction has officially started. We are breaking ground today. So after we did the setting out of the house and it was approved by the authorities, we are now proceeding. We are now going to be doing the trenches of the house. So if you ever wondered why trenches are dug in a certain way, how deep they should be, or why engineers insist on inspections before concrete is poured, or why some houses develop cracks years later, then obviously this video is for you. You are building in Zimbabwe, you plan to build, or you're even still in the stage of looking for a residential stand to buy. Still, this video is for you. So let us get started. So majority of you already seen prior videos to this where we were doing the site clearance, we're removing the rubble which was on the site. It was a lot of it. So this is where we are now today, and this is where almost every house starts like. Okay, no walls, roofs, windows, just lines on the ground. We have people even up to date who underestimate the stage because, well, it doesn't look impressive, but in reality this is the most important phase of the entire project. If it is done wrong, mistakes made during this foundation construction are amongst the most expensive mistakes to correct later on. So this is why it is important to get it done right the very first time. Hence, there is no need to rush. Plan carefully and do your things in the proper way. As I mentioned, we already did the setting out and it was approved. So setting out, this is transferring the dimensions from the actual architectural drawings onto the actual ground. Every room, every wall, every corner, everything has to match the approved drawings. This is where the accuracy matters most. So even a very small mistake of just a few centimeters, it will affect the whole and entire building. So this is why it's very important that it is done correctly and why it has to be approved by your relative respective authorities. That is why they have to come. So the setting out, it was approved. Now we are doing the excavation. We are using a TLB. So a TLB is one of the most commonly used machines on residential construction projects because it can excavate trenches quickly and efficiently. There are many reasons to why people would choose to go with TLB. This is something which is very optional, to do it with a machine or to do it the manual way. It all depends on your reasons as well as your pocket. So for us, mainly it was because of the ground itself. Majority of you by now, you can tell and see that our ground, it is rocks, and also the time itself, we are working with time. So instead of taking several days, if we're going to do it manually, it's obviously going to take us a lot of days. So we just chose this option. So the operator here, okay, before you get your machine on the ground, obviously you would have done your prior calculations. There is a certain amount of time that you anticipate that they would have finished the trenching. So this is something that you should make sure that you have someone on ground who will be working with these people, making sure that they are directing them, everything is being done according to the plan. And also, most importantly, there is no dilly-dallying, because the last thing that you would want is to divert a lot from the planned time to getting it exceeding by many hours. So there were some questions that people always ask. Should I go with the TLB or should I do it manually? Like I mentioned, this is something which is very optional. And also, you need to consider how deep you are going with your trenches. There are some depths that obviously it wouldn't make sense to do it manually. So this could be one of the reasons why you would need to have a TLB. And also, when you are doing the trenches, you have to follow what the structural drawings of the house say. No less, no little, is according to what the structural drawings say. That's why the inspector would come and say that you need to redo this, you need to do this, or you simply pass it. It simply means that you are doing everything according to the plans that you submitted that got approved. So as our excavation continued, as you can see, the team was on the ground making sure that everything is done according to the plan, the width, all those kind of thing. So the TLB, it got us close to the required dimensions, but obviously it would need some manual finishings at the end. So another important responsibility during excavation is obviously protecting the setting out. The original building lines, they remain our reference throughout the construction. So if they get disturbed without proper controls, rebuilding the layouts becomes much more difficult. And of course, every action it is going to cost us. So our team, that's why you see we have our team there, which is making sure that everything is being done as to the ground. So this part, as you can see, you can hear me shouting. So this part, we had a structure which was there before, and also a combination of it being a very rocky area. There are some parts in which they are struggling to go deeper, so we'll find ways to get to the required depth. So the TLB is just going to do what it can. So what happens? Let's say maybe there is over excavation. That's why it's important to have engineers on site and engineers that you'll be working with when you are building your house. They may require to have the affected sections to be backfilled with concrete or approved material as required. But this is a very avoidable cost if things are just done the right way, and if there is good supervision, it will prevent these problems from happening. And again, excavation also gives us opportunity to inspect what's beneath the surface. So sometimes the soil can appear in a very different way, or when you go down you'll find that the situation is now different. That is why it's very important to have soil tests done. This will help you know exactly what is on the ground, how your soil looks like down there, so that the moment you start you're already prepared. You know exactly what is excuse me, you know exactly what is beneath. So you might find that there are situations that are going to differ from the things that you would have anticipated. So it is very important to have the right people to respond correctly to the conditions and situations that you would have encountered along the way. So one of the biggest mistakes people make when building is rushing foundations, because nothing is visible yet. So people will just rush their way. They just want to get started. But on the actual fact, this is the most important and crucial stage where everything has to be done right. So this hidden part of the house is actually carrying everything: the brick, the trusses, the floors, the ceilings. Every person who will ever occupy this house, everything depends on this stage, the foundations. So after excavation is complete, we don't immediately pour the concrete. You have to make sure again that everything has been done accordingly, the width, the depth, everything, you know. And humans, they need to come in and, you know, they have to panofana kunyatsokuenenzera panenge pasinanyatsoitwa zvakanaka with what, with the machine. So also we need to make sure that we are clearly documenting everything that you are doing, because this is going to protect you and making you know that everything you're doing is going according to the plan and you are in track. You also need to keep yourself in check. So we have many people who still love so much to focus on the finishings, the tiles, the kitchen, the paints, the colors, all those kind of things that are very exciting when it comes to construction. And then, you know, they want to cut corners on structures. You know, this is something that you should stop it. Quality construction begins underground. This is where everything starts. So I'm sure you are already getting the certification by now. This is interesting to watch, actually. You know, the machines working, the people working, and, you know, knowing very well that within a very short period of time we are already done.
Okay, so it's exactly 1 hour since excavation started. We want to see the progress that has been made so far.
Okay, so here you can see that the machine has stopped. So obviously you have to rush and see what is going on. like I said, this ground is a bit hard, and there was an existing structure, so they might have faced a challenge, and they are vari kuonesana kuti zvofamba sei zvoitwa sei. And so of course excavation isn't always smooth. Just because it's a machine working, it doesn't mean it's going to be smooth. Machines can break down, weather can interrupt, unexpected ground conditions can be found. So obviously these uncertainties, you need to quickly respond and face the challenges in a manner which is within what you are supposed to be doing according to the plan. But then one thing that I can guarantee you is do not compromise on supervision. So whether you're building locally or managing your project from the diaspora, ensure that you have professionals, qualified professionals, inspect the stages, because many costly construction defects occur simply because maybe the people who were there, they weren't competent enough, or they skipped something, or they just didn't do things the right way. So always make sure that the stages they have been completed. Okay, so obviously you can hear me asking what I'm asking. We had planned that the excavation should be taking 2 hours, but clearly from what you can see or what I'm seeing at the moment, you could clearly see that they are not yet done halfway, and we're now just left with 1 hour that we had initially planned for. Yeah, of course, extensions can happen if the need is there, and they should be justified. So as much as you do the extensions, you need them to be justified. So yes, supervision is not an expense, it is an investment. Remember, this is a lifetime investment that you are building, so it is worth every penny.
So now it's exactly 2 hours since they started the excavation. So we want to see where we are at the moment. So behold, the ground, it's very hard, and then there were structures which were there before. So there are some points in which he's really struggling to trench. See from where he is trenching, we can see that there oh my god.
So once trench excavation is fully completed, the next stage, obviously, it will be cleaning the trenches, making sure that panyatsogadziriswa pese and shabuda shakanaka. So obviously the next stage, we are now going to be preparing for the foundation concrete. That is where the structural work begins. So every step builds upon the previous one. Like I said, the method that we're using on this construction site, it is a waterfall method.
see the rocks, that big rock there. So manual trenching on this tent, it was close to impossible because this area is very rocky in Matombo Akawanda, and the fact that there was an existing structure that used to be here which was demolished, so we're obviously going to face a lot of challenges.
I hope this video it has helped you understand why trench excavation is far more important than simply digging into the ground. Every measurement, every inspection, every decision, every machine movement, it all contributes to the long-term strength and safety of the building. So this Borrowdale project is only just getting started, and there are many exciting stages that are coming where you are obviously going to be keeping track of what's happening, and for you to learn and appreciate the processes. We're obviously going to be showing all the milestones as they will be happening: the brickwork, the backfilling, slab, walling, etc., etc. So if you are planning to build in Zimbabwe, or you simply enjoy following real construction projects, you are in the right place. And obviously, if you need a competent project manager, I am just a phone call away. Thank you so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and obviously comment in the comment section, and do not forget to subscribe. Until next informative video, cheers.